All right, we are live, brother. Welcome in. Latest episode of that SEC podcast brought to you by Twisted Tea and My Bookie. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on Twitter. And he is Cousin Shade, a big Tennessee homer. What's up, brother?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, man, we got so many people already here on the live feed, Shane. You were joking. This is I finally come prepared to one of these live shows. This gonna be one hell of a show to close out the week. It's our first show of the week. You know what?
I'll tell you what, Mike showed me all this stuff he's got prepared, and I'm like, January 1st isn't here yet, right? We don't have to be. Let's just squash 23. 24 is our new year, That's when Big Cousin Shane, maybe one of these diets pay off. My brother, he's been sending me all this Jocko stuff, like, you got to do this. And I'm like, I'm listening to a video. I'm like, yeah, I can run 4 miles a day,
Yeah, Jerry Moore in the comments here, Shane. He says Shane's New Year's resolution is to grow some hair. Is that on the list?
That is up there, but not. I mean, ultimately, I guess same thing. For the last 41 years, I've always said I want to lose weight. So I would imagine that's number one. Second, more family time, and more. This pod. This is a big part of my life now, and it gets bigger and better every single year. And I think the more we put into it, the better experience fans get out of it. So prioritizing that as well.
Yeah, it's all we try to do, Shade. We are a family show, literally. We're small budget, but we try to just make each one better and better.
Yeah.
And just like us, Shane, the Tennessee Vols. As JD on here, it's Nico time, baby. 15-0. Man,
Yeah.
we got a lot to talk about here. You know what?
Yeah, Christmas came a little late for them Tennessee Vols, but we found out Nico's getting rolled out there. Actually, first it was that West account, that's got everybody. That's the first I saw Nico getting the starting job, so nobody believed it. And then all of a sudden, like a day 2 later, it started coming out that Nico is going to get the starting spot there in the bowl game against Iowa. And I think that's huge for Vol fans because it's a prelude to what's going to next season is going to look like. It's a good launching pad.
Yeah, and speaking of Christmas, Shay, we'll talk all about Nico in just a minute here. But we got a Christmas card for the fans out there. Did you have a good Christmas? How's everything going on your end, brother?
Yeah, it was awesome. You ever seen that movie, Four Christmases? That's what it felt like, I had a Christmas at my parents'. We had Christmas at our house, then my wife's parents' house, and my oldest, she'll be in town February, so we're kind of holding off some of the Christmas there. But, yeah, it's just been go, go, go. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm exhausted. We took time off, and it was just go, 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 and now the dust is starting to settle a little bit. But all in all, it's always great to spend time with family and friends, and absolutely had a fantastic Christmas. What about you, Mike?
Well, yeah, I appreciate you asking, Shane. But first, before I answer it, I want the record to be out there. Shane, let everybody know I gave him time off. I'm not a mean boss, Shane. I give you all the time off in the world. Family first, even though we are family, but family first. We ain't going too hard, but yeah.
Oh, Ebenezer didn't get me this year.
Yeah, it was a nice. It was a drama-free Christmas. That's the best way I can explain it over here. Everything's going great. Yeah, just like you, we had Christmas on Christmas. We had Christmas on the 26th. We had Christmas on the 27th because we got so many different family members to hit. But yeah, I can't complain. It was a great one on my end.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I'm like trying to gain weight now. Like I've go over here and we've got like Novaks and Buckeyes and all this stuff. It's like just food, and I'm just eating sometimes, and I'm like, what am I doing? It's like I'm preparing, like I'm gaining weight for a fight or something like that, But
Yeah.
I swear, man, Mike, this is my year. I promise. January 1st, I'm hitting it. We're hitting it. Me, you, flying Hawaiian. We're getting in on this thing, and we're going to be sending out some updates. Now, if I start ghosting you about week 2, then just know why, man. I fell off the wagon again.
Yeah, Space Mountain says y'all are kin. We are. Yeah, we are really cousins.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But and hey, how about this, Shane? $10 donation. Appreciate you, Hollis Brown
Thank you.
Thornton. Thank you. No comment though. I wish you had a comment or a question or something like that. But appreciate it nonetheless, Shane.
Absolutely.
And speaking of Christmas, Shane, boom, we finally got it. Texas and Oklahoma koozies have been delivered. So all you Texas and Oklahoma cousins, welcome to the family. Subscribe to this show. Reach out to us at thatsecpodcast@gmail.com with your subscription, your 5-star review of the show. We're happy to send you a free beer koozie. So I don't know anyone else that does something like that, Shane, but we just appreciate the audience so much. We got all the SEC, but a little behind the scenes here quickly, Shane. We got a loaded show, but why have we not had a Texas and Oklahoma koozie yet, even though we've embraced them? I made these team-specific logos so long ago, Shane. Mm-hmm. I forgot how I did it. And it's taken me about 6 months to remember how I did it so I can finally make the Texas and Oklahoma. We got it. We got all 16 SEC teams covered with the koozies. So I just want to throw that out there. I want it to be a happy new year for all our new cousins there in Norman and in Austin. You know what?
No, this is awesome. And I tell you what, it's a rowdy little group that's coming in. I'm noticing more and more of them coming in, and especially them Longhorns, brother. They're quick to tell you who they are and what they're about. But, I'm ready for it. I can't wait to embrace these new teams. We get to see a little bit of them this weekend, both teams playing. And, it's kickoff. Welcome to the league. Welcome to the conference.
Yeah, I mean, Texas fans, they're eager to tell you they're about to win the national championship. Yeah. They're going to whoop Alabama again. Mizzou's picking fights with Oklahoma. I mean, they're part of the family already if they're fighting, you know?
Absolutely. Mizzou and Oklahoma rivalry kicking off, and Longhorns. It's funny because as Texas A&M's getting their ass kicked, I saw more Longhorns fans, and I'm like, it's like no conference love here. These guys hate each other.
Right. So let's get right into that, Shane. Texas A&M lost last night in the Texas Bowl to Oklahoma State. But really, it was like half of A&M. I mean, I almost give them credit for the win. I know we were having a good time, Shane, with this photo here of Mike Gundy. For anybody that missed it, looked like he had eaten an edible, and his eyes were as red as could be here during this game here. But it is what it is, Shane. Again, Texas A&M had 55 scholarship players. Yeah. They were down to their third-string quarterback. He broke his arm on the very first play. So they were down to true freshman Marcel Reed, who I actually thought was pretty impressive in the game, Shane. If nothing else, I came away impressed with the freshman. 361 passing yards. He did throw an interception, but that was a Hail Mary, literally the last play of the game, so I don't hold that against him. A&M was down 24-6 at halftime. Shane, they more or less dominated the second half, won it 17-7, and had they not fumbled at the 1-yard line going in for a touchdown, I think they would have won this game. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But all things considered, again, a loss is a loss. I'm sure A&M fans are happy to put a close to the Jimbo Fisher era here, looking ahead to the Mike Elko era. But I thought. The A&M, I thought they looked a hell of a lot better than I thought they would, given all their players they were missing.
I think that's the key here, Mike. If week one Texas A&M roster, forget the coach, just the roster itself was going against Oklahoma State, this would not have been a ball game. This would have been a blowout. And that's one of the things I was kind of afraid of, and I've been afraid of in these bowl games, especially with the opt-outs, going to the NFL, transfer portals, that sort of thing. There's a lot of SEC especially not completely bought in. Now, I imagine the playoffs and a handful of these teams, they're going to give it all, but A&M was one that was a little bit decimated coming into this bowl game, so I'm not surprised that it turned out this way, but I think I was more surprised at how much fight these boys had. It was nice hearing Elko there in the press box. He was excited. You could definitely tell he's pumped up about being there, and brighter days are ahead for them Aggies.
Oh, speaking of brighter days, Shane, I love Oklahoma now. Merry Christmas from Shoelace Suitor. Happy New Year's. Horns down always. Boomer, he just gave us $50. Really appreciate you.
Crying now.
Shoelace. You got to reach out to us. That SEC podcast at gmail.com. Happy to send you one of these Oklahoma koozies for free. We also got Colbert Son 44, Shane, in the Citrus Bowl. Nico throws for over or under 250 yards. He gave us $5, so we will answer that immediately, Shane. Over or under 250 yards for Nico. Honestly, Shane, I think under.
Yeah.
Just because Tennessee's been such a running team this year, and I realize Jalen Wright's opted out, Jabari Smells opted out, but they still got some outstanding running backs.
Yeah.
I think they'll still lean on the ground game, but I think Nico's going to have a really good game. But I would be surprised if he had over 250 yards in his debut against a tough defense. I think just under.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Iowa's tough defense. I think it's going to be under myself, but total yards over. Because I don't be surprised if Nico doesn't walk away from this game 100 yards, man. I'm thinking. I mean, he's very. I think that's going to light up all the Volunteer fans when Nico comes out here with maybe 300, 350 total yards. It'd be awesome.
Yep. All right, Shane. So hey,
bring Jimbo back.
I had to throw that
How
up
about
there.
no? I was wondering. I was thinking about him earlier. I saw a commercial. I think it was somebody made it up about the NCAA. With all his money, I was just thinking him buying that game and just storming through the SEC. Like not leaving the basement till he wins a natty.
Yeah, and again, I mean that may be the only bowl loss the SEC faces. And again, they only had half a damn roster, so I don't really hold that against them. You know what?
No, absolutely not.
Now, how about this, Shane? Again, we got a playoff game. We got a lot of clips here from Michigan, Alabama, the preview. But I had to get your thoughts on this before we get into the game here. This is like the photo seen around the world here the last couple of days, Shane. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen. But we got Jim Harbaugh, we got Nick Saban, and we got Mickey Mouse in front of the Magic Castle down here in the game's in Pasadena. I'm thinking it's in Anaheim, but man, what goes through your head here? What do you think? Can you caption this for us, Shane? Saban, Harbaugh, Mickey Mouse, and I mean, my goodness, Saban's about as tall as Mickey Mouse here.
Well, I saw a friend of the show, Marler. He talked. He was relieved that Nick Saban was actually taller than Mickey Mouse. So I thought that was hilarious. But he's in hell right now. I seen him in the parade and everything. He cannot stand this part. He would rather be recruiting, game planning, just anywhere but there. Around those kids. So, but all in all, I think they're having fun. And I don't know if there's a right capture for that one.
Yeah, and I will clarify, Shane, in that video you showed me, that's his granddaughter with him. So yeah. I think any fake smile you see, that was all for the granddaughter's benefit. You know what?
Even Miss Terry looked like she had a couple toddies, to tolerate them little bastards out there.
But how about this, Shane? So Jim Harbaugh, cheating Harbaugh, of course, he was asked about Jalen Milroe. Mm-hmm. And who, thoughts on him and everything. So let's throw it over to Jim Harbaugh, Shane, and I'll get your thoughts on the other side here.
I'm sorry if you've been asked this already, but when you think of Jalen Milroe, what's the first thing that comes up?
It's like a real polished Alex Orange. And understanding, the athletic skill set, the playmaking ability, just the ability to extend plays, make plays, and it's really, you can see the volume of the work and how it's progressed. It's really impressive.
Now, Shane, first of all, do you have any idea who Alex Orji is? Because, and I don't blame you if you did, but do you have any idea who that is?
I have no idea.
I had to look it up. He is Michigan's scout team quarterback, Shane. That's who Jalen Milroe, who was one spot away from being a Heisman finalist, that's who Jim Harbaugh thinks of when he looks at Jalen Milroe. And you could tell if you're just listening back to this on Friday, it looks like he is like searching in the back of his mind, like, don't say anything negative. Don't say anything negative. Because he is searching for something positive to say. Alex Orji, Shane, he's never thrown a football in college football. He has 69 rushing yards in his Michigan career, and he's been there for like 3 years. Thoughts on Jim Harbaugh saying
That sounds like a joke wrote itself, you know. I'm sure our perverted fan base is going to find something there, but yeah, no, this is obviously noise, but it's ammunition. It's that rat poison that Nick Saban talks about. You know, we're going to hear from Jalen here in a second. He's got his own demons that he's carrying to this game, and he's got a lot of people to prove wrong, and this is just one of those. You know, the fact that you're compared to a scout team quarterback for a team that you're going against is just an absolute joke.
Oh man, I couldn't believe it. I literally had to look up who in the hell is this Alex Orji. He must be amazing.
I swear, sometimes Jim talks, I'm like, is he even here? Like, I know he's physically here, but where is his spirit right now?
Mother Jones says Cousin Shane wearing the cheating Harbaugh glasses tonight. All right, yeah. So you mentioned it, Jalen Milroe. This is fantastic. I credit Jalen Milroe for being so transparent and being honest. And he was asked about Bill O'Brien, obviously the offensive coordinator last season. Apparently, Bill O'Brien did not have a high opinion of Jalen Milroe.
Was there a moment where someone wanted you to play a different position or something, and you kind of said, no, I'm a quarterback?
Shoot, you know, all my life, even when I was in college. Shoot, my own offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, told me I shouldn't play quarterback. So, you know, there's a lot of things I can, you know, have motivation on, and that is something I have motivation from.
Reaction to Bill O'Brien telling you that you shouldn't play quarterback. Do you remember how you felt when he said that?
How would you feel if I told you you suck?
I wouldn't like it.
Okay then, so that's exactly how I felt, you know what I'm saying? So like, biggest thing for me, be true to myself and, you know, stay the same. You know, nothing changed about me. Only thing that changed me was I had the opportunity and I seized it. And so for me, you know, the biggest thing was just stay true to myself and, you know, I had a bigger purpose than anyone's opinion.
Is there a position he wanted you to play or said you should be this position or that position, or do you just...
I mean, he told me a bunch of business I could have switched to, but look where I'm at right now. So, you know what I'm saying? So who gets the last laugh?
Oh, well, it ain't Bill O'Brien getting the last laugh, I'll tell you that. But, man, that's some harsh comments for his former offense coordinator.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Because there was a lot of us talking heads were saying the same thing after, you know, South Florida's maybe you should try something different, you know. So I can't pile on Bill O'Brien here, but you know, I think that just speaks volumes to what, you know, Tommy Rees and all of them were able to do this year in Alabama. You know, they developed this kid into almost a Heisman winner. And if he started out the season with like he's playing now, he probably would have won the damn thing. So I think he's on the right path, and he's had naysayers his entire life, it sounds like. So he's not he's not dumb to it, you know.
Right. Jalen Milroe, since the start of November, Shane, he's responsible for 17 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy, 1 touchdown during that span. So, I don't know. If Harbaugh's being honest, I think we all know who the hotter quarterback is. Now, also, though, maybe related, Shane, they weren't stealing signs late in the season, and that is something on their mind. Alabama receiver Isaiah Bond was asked about it. Some pretty interesting comments leading up to a freaking playoff game here.
Sounds like some of the guys saying you guys have been watching it together, not individually. What's that been like?
Yeah, the film, we've been watching it together just because earlier I said, I think they said Michigan was like stealing signs for like the first 8 weeks or something like that. So us is watching film with the team because we're not allowed to watch film on our own because we don't want any, I guess, stuff like that happening again.
How does that change how you prepare?
It doesn't change at all. We're still gonna watch the film. We're still gonna get the hours in. We're still gonna look over the defense, do everything we would in a regular game.
As a competitor, as a player, like how do you deal with?
So Shane, they don't even trust their iPads have not been hacked by the Michigan staff. I mean, I don't blame them because you don't want to lose to a bunch of cheaters here that are known cheaters. But
yeah,
I mean, this is wild times we're living here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and I think it's the last year we got to deal with it because they're already starting to roll out some of these, you know, these helmet audio, which they're doing in the NFL anyway. I mean,
Right.
there's no reason that college shouldn't have it either. So I cannot wait for those 3 colored shirts on the sideline doing the, the little song and dance with the signs. I cannot wait for them to go away, but it's a real problem clearly this year with Michigan. But I will say this, the fact that it got popped, is going to make it very, very tough. Not saying it can't be done, but there's a lot of people got Michigan under the microscope trying to catch them doing something else wrong.
Right. And you better believe it, Shane. All the eyes on this playoff game, they're going to be watching everybody on that Michigan sideline. Who's cheating? What's he looking at? What's he doing over there? I mean, it's going to be fun.
But do like you do, man. This is Alabama. I would love for you to just go up and say, hey, we're going to run over my left guard here, Can you stop it? No, you can't stop it. So that's the kind of mentality I think Bama's going to have in this one right here. And I hope it's an absolute bloodbath.
Yep. All right, Shane. So I'm seeing tons of people in the comments, and I know you're dying to talk about it. So Joe Milton has opted out, heading to the draft. So we got, all of a sudden, there's a lot more juice over this Citrus Bowl matchup. Tennessee versus Iowa, New Year's Day with Nico getting his first career start. We're already getting donations here. Can he throw for over 250 yards? Shane, I'm saying he's going to score 4 touchdowns. I didn't say yardage. I'm saying touchdowns. But, how much more excitement does this bring to the Citrus Bowl in your mind now that it's the start of the Nico era on Rocky Top?
Well, before we jump into Nico, I would like to say Joe Milton, hats off to him. A lot of people throw these VFL things around, for what he had to put up with, not just peer pressure, but fan pressure. And he went out there, did his job the best he could, and never fought it along the way. So, again, hats off to Joe Milton. Statistically, a successful career at the University of Tennessee. Now, Nico, man, the hype train has been picking up throughout the year, myself included. And I'm telling you, brother, I made a joke. You made a message earlier talking about our red zone efficiency, and I said, this is Tennessee. No offense, South Carolina, but this is Tennessee's Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way this thing is starting to get built up, because the next chapter, Nico, there is a lot of pressure on this kid to be successful now, not next year. Immediately they want to see success in this Iowa game.
Right. And would you be so kind, Shane? You don't have to share if you don't want to, but when I told you officially Nico's starting, what was your first response? I mean, you were just joking, but I just thought it was hilarious.
Well, there's a lot of things, but I was just so damn excited, Mike. I got a lot of Christmas presents this year, but this was the best one. You know what I'm saying? Because you just want your team to be good. Everybody does. That's why Ole Miss fans are so damn happy. Mizzou fans are so happy. It's like you're there, and you're on the edge. Like this time next year, you're in talks for a college football playoff, and now Tennessee's back in that mix because we've got a quarterback that is hyped to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and potentially could you think about the success that Josh Heupel's had, especially with Hendon Hooker. Well, now you've got another guy that has the mobility of Hendon Hooker, has shown promise, with his passing capabilities, and now we're surrounding him with more and more weapons. So how can you not just be on cloud 9 right now if you're a Tennessee fan?
Well, that's not quite what you said, Shay. Can I share? Because I have it verbatim. I remember it perfectly because you're just the funniest bastard alive. But you said, "What if he sucks?" After all this hype and all this, and hell, I mean, it's like 24 hours later, and you've already convinced yourself he's going to win multiple Heismans.
Yeah.
They're going to beat the shit out of Iowa. But I just thought that was hilarious.
I'm not going to lie. There's that little devil on your shoulder that says, "What if he transfers out next year?" After I'm not saying that's going to happen, and I'm like trying to be as optimistic as possible here, Mike, but I think the more time that I had to think about it, the more optimism I got. But there is a lot.
We call that battered Vol syndrome. That's all that was, and it takes an hour, and then you're over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like that's it. You're always waiting for the but. all this is going good, but you just kept waiting for that. So I hope everything works out here, man, because there's a lot of pressure on Nico.
Right, and Shane was alluding to the fact that the red zone stats. This is something I looked up this morning, but Tennessee ranked 122nd in the country out of 130, so damn near dead last in red zone touchdown percentage this season. Now, let's not make it out like Tennessee was one of the worst teams in the country. They went 8-4 in the nation's toughest conference. But last season, Shane, when they won 11 games, 10-2 in the regular season, they were number 1 in the country in touchdown red zone percentage. So, again, it's unfair to sit here and say, well, Nico, go out there and score all these touchdowns in the red zone. I guess an Iowa defense that is pretty good. I think if they played in the SEC, they'd be middle tier, to be honest with you, but still a good defense. But that's just something I'll have my eye on in this game, Shane. Tennessee gets down to the red zone. How effective is the offense with Nico under center? If they score touchdowns, again, I'm going to be circling the wagons. The momentum's going to be real for next season, Shane, and everything they can do. Again, if they get blanked in the red zone, I'll say, well, he's just a true freshman. He'll blow up next year. You know what I mean?
Oh, we're going to spin this any way we want, Mike. So just get out there, have some fun, but also a little preview. And that's what I'm noticing with a lot of these bowl games. It's like a little.
Uh-oh.
Hey, no.
Whoops, sorry, I cut you off there. I hit the wrong button.
Well, I said some really good stuff there, so I apologize. I can't bring that back. So,
well, let's get over to Heupel, Shane, talking about Nico and just making his first start, obviously. And again, I mean, I think it may be too bold, Shane, to say that next season hopes rely solely on Nico, but if Tennessee's going to get where Tennessee wants them to get, he has to be really good. I truly do think, because they don't quite have the roster of Alabama, Georgia, maybe even Texas, teams like of that caliber. But the great equalizer, we all know, is a great quarterback. And if he's elite, then he can kind of close that gap, so to speak. And of course, Heupel, he'll never say that, but I'll say it for him.
What do you like about where he's at right now?
Yeah, he's smart, he's competitive. When he makes a mistake, and young players are always going to do that, he continues to learn and grow from it, doesn't repeat it. He's got the ability to reset from play to play, day to day. Extremely talented, everybody's known that. But I love the way that he works inside of our building, and he's got a great demeanor about him, but he's great at communicating with his teammates as well.
How different?
Now, Shane, one final thing on Tennessee real quick. Our buddy J.D. Pickall over there at On3 Sports, still trying to line up J.D. to come in studio. I think that's going to happen here soon. But he is reporting, or not reporting, he has made a prediction for the transfer portal, Shane. Evan Stewart, Texas A&M's outstanding receiver to Tennessee. Now, again, just a projection, nothing final. But one of his colleagues over there at On3, Pete Nankos, really good reporter, Shane. When Evan Stewart, when all this, to the portal started, a lot of people thought Alabama and Texas were the likely destinations for Evan Stewart. Pete Nankos is reporting that neither one seems like a likely destination for Evan Stewart. So some people are saying Ole Miss, maybe just because they're the portal kings and they get every damn buddy. But just thoughts on, I think you got to look at teams like Missouri. We got some more on them in a minute. Ole Miss and many others, but particularly Ole Miss and Missouri. They're looking at next season. They're going all in. If I'm Tennessee, I think that's got to get you kind of in a similar mindset to where we got this young quarterback. We're going to have all these linemen back. Let's give him some weapons here.
Yeah.
What would you think about Evan Stewart lining up in Tennessee's offense?
Well, I think too it's something you got to sell to Evan Stewart, and yes, you can go to Ole Miss, but there's a lot of mouths to feed up there. You know what I'm saying? You could go to Alabama, you could go to Georgia, or you could come to a place like Tennessee and be the star. And I'm not saying that he would solely own that position, but that's what Tennessee needs is some downfield presence. And Evan Stewart is one of the – I just don't think his full potential has been unlocked yet. And I think in a Heupel system it really could be. So, yeah, would I love to have him? Absolutely. But he's going to succeed wherever he's at because they know what a valuable weapon he should be.
Right. Well, I said we're going to talk some Mizzou, Shane, so let's get to it. The Cotton Bowl here coming up here against Ohio State.
Yeah.
And this one, outside of the playoff matchups, Shane, this is kind of the bowl game I'm most looking forward to for a lot of reasons. SEC, Big Ten. I think, the winner of this game, some narratives will be out there, particularly if Mizzou can beat Ohio State. Ohio State was ranked number 1 for several weeks of the season. I think there's a lot on the line. 11-win season here. Drake's never had a winning season at Mizzou until now. To go all the way to an 11-win season, what a cap that would be, and a great jumping off point to what could be a playoff run next season. How excited are you for this Cotton Bowl?
Mike, I know it sounds crazy, but I think this would be a signature win. And when I say signature win, what I mean by is this is something people remember. People remember when you beat Ohio State. And I think, like you said, more importantly, launching into next year, for us to place them near a top 10 start, we've got to start the season by the way we end the season. And if you could beat Ohio State Buckeyes, a team that was considered at one time the best team in the country, people remember it. And that's why you get the votes, and that's why you get moved up these lists at the start of the season. So I think this is a big one for Mizzou.
Right, and people are asking Marvin Harrison, Ohio State star receiver, is he going to play? Still don't know. And Ryan Day and Drink had a press conference here recently. He wouldn't answer. He said that's up for Marvin Harrison to announce. So yeah. I don't know what that means. That tells me he's probably not playing. Because I don't know why you just come out. If he's playing, I'd say, hell yeah, he's playing. You know what I mean?
Playing. Yeah. He's afraid when he gets locked down by them Mizzou cornerbacks that, stock's going to go with it. So, no, he's crazy to come out and play. And that's one of the things Ohio State is kind of in the boat that some of these other teams in the SEC are. Like, they're out, man. We've already got opt-outs. We've already had some hit the portal. They're moving on. It's on to next season here. Your coach is breaking down because he got some recruit. That's where they're at right now. So while they're wounded, this is the time to put them out of their misery, and I think that's what Mizzou is setting up nicely here.
Right, and I can't wait to see Luther Burden play in this football game, Shane, on a national spotlight. Every SEC game is essentially on a national spotlight, but these bowl games a little bit different. There's not as many games on, so there's more eyes on them.
Yeah.
And Eli was asked about Luther Burden and the impact he's made on the Missouri program. And, if Missouri continues to keep winning, Shane, and builds on this season, I think we may all look back at Luther Burden as, the catalyst for that to happen. So let's kick it over to Eli here.
Can you discuss, in addition to what he's done on the field, the overall impact of what Luther Burden has meant to your program?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to measure as of right now. But I will say, 2 years ago, we were a 6-6 program that, for me, frankly, had a lot of talk but not a lot of results. And for Luther to choose to come to the University of Missouri when he had some other opportunities, and then for us, not only for our program to back it up, but for the state of Missouri to back it up through NIL and other opportunities to market Luther, I think it's created a place where other players know, hey, I can go there, create my own brand and value for myself at the University of Missouri. I don't have to go somewhere else outside of the state. Resulted this year with Williams Nwaneri, who was consensus #1 D lineman in the country. Well, I shouldn't say consensus. In one of the 6 rankings, he was #1 in the country. But to choose to play here. We've had other players in the portal choose to come back. And I don't think that would have happened had Luther not chosen to come here. And then I can't say enough about the maturity and growth that he's made as a player off the field. Last year he relied mostly on talent. Now he's relied on preparation. And when preparation and talent come together, you have an opportunity to be a special player. And that's really what's happened with him.
What a distinguished gentleman he is, What a savvy look. It looks like he just downed some eggnog before he got up there, didn't he? That was after the Christmas party. Sorry.
If I think I have this correct, Shane, and I may have it incorrect, but I think it is right. I think Luther Burden was committed to Ohio State. Mm-hmm. So Ryan Day was sitting right next to him. So he couldn't just say, well, we whooped everybody's ass in recruiting or anything like that. But I think that's just an added bonus to that. But the point exactly. The point I really wanted to make, though, Shane, is remember when he committed, it was Ohio State for a while, but the team they really had to beat out was Georgia.
Yeah.
And Georgia was just coming off a championship run. And I mean, I know you saw it. We all saw it. A lot of these Georgia, and not just Georgia, but national fans saying, well, hell, he can just go 6-6 at Mizzou and then enter the portal, and then we'll get him. I mean, I can't wait for it. A year from now, just like Dominic Lovett, he'll come to Athens. You know what I mean? Like that narrative's out there where in today's football, where people bitch about the transfer portal and NIL. Well, it's keeping players like Luther Burden at Mizzou. And it's good for Mizzou. It's good for Luther Burden because now he's again, if Mizzou, let's say they win this game, let's say they have a great year next year, he is going to be remembered as an all-time Missouri Tiger. And he would have had success at Ohio State. He would have had success at Georgia. He would have had success wherever he went. But would he have been an in-state hometown legend like he has a chance to do at Missouri? No, the answer is no, because he would just been next in a long line of great players to go to these other schools. So while there's a lot to complain about, while there's a lot to be uncertain about the future of college football, there are great storylines here if you know where to look. And I think Luther Burden's one of the best ones out there.
And you're starting to see more of it, Mike. It's not just Mizzou, but, I think the key to what Drink just said was like, basically, you don't have to go to Ohio State to make it to the NFL. You could come right here in Mizzou. And, in fact, you may have a better shot getting into the league because you shine brighter than some of the other stars that are here. So I love this. I think that's the key is putting guys in the league because when you're on that recruiting trail, you can say, hey, look, Luther, first round, top 5 pick. Here he is, he came here. You could be the same. You could do the same. And that's why they're starting to recruit at that high level. So take kids like Cody Schrader that nobody really wanted. And I'm not saying nobody didn't want him, but it wasn't like there was a large list of Georgia, Alabama's, LSU's trying to chase him down. He comes to Mizzou, and now he's auditioning for the NFL. So, it's just great storylines, but it's the truth. It's not some bullshit story that you're feeding these kids.
Right. And then, Shannon, I really wanted to ask you about this too, though, switching gears to LSU, because there's a popular rumor out there.
Yeah.
And that's all it is for now. But a friend of the show, Billy Lucci, I love this little deal here. Someone tweeted out a photo of Brian Kelly looking at a phone with the caption, guess who that was on the phone? Probably, this is a recruiting thing, but Billy Lucci says, was that Michigan on the phone? So, for those that haven't heard the rumor, many people suspect Jim Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan to go to the NFL if that offer's on the table. He's tried to leave Michigan before. And apparently, I have no idea if this is true or not, Shane, but apparently he's got a huge extension being offered, Jim Harbaugh does, to stay at Michigan with a little thing in the contract essentially saying you cannot leave for the NFL, and he has not signed this contract. So people are, putting 2 and 2 together and thinking that means he is leaving for the NFL. And then to take it a step further, people are saying Brian Kelly, if offered the job, he would leave LSU for Michigan. What's your thoughts on all that?
I mean, we do this. I mean, Kirby Smart's going to the NFL too, right? Nick Saban's retiring, ain't he? So I think every single year you're going to hear this rumor mill. I mean, this is a scenario that 2 things have to happen. Jim Harbaugh has to turn down a 10-year contract and go to the league. Then after that opening, Brian Kelly comes up to Michigan, leaves LSU, a hotbed recruits. You talk about the highway to. That's why he came here, Mike. I mean, he left Notre Dame to come down here because he realized that he can't win national championships without SEC players. So, yeah, I don't think he would leave, but crazier things have happened.
Right, and I think you just hit on the most critical thing, Shane, and I get it. I mean, these coaches lie, and they've done it many times. He wouldn't be the first one to lie. But what did Brian Kelly take his job for? Because he said, I can't win a national championship at Notre Dame. It's just, well, he didn't go quite that far. But he said, I'm coming down here to win a national championship because we know you can win a national championship at LSU. He's, short of Nick Saban, he would be, we love Coach O. He's a better coach than Coach O. Les Miles, I mean, as soon as he left LSU, I mean, he's a train wreck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can't win anywhere. It's LSU that's special with all the talent, like you're saying. LSU is constructed for a quality coach to come in there, win a national championship. You go to Michigan, you're not winning any national championships. You're just running from the challenge that is the SEC. LSU will pay you whatever they got to do to keep you in there. If he leaves, I think it'll be a coward's way out of just leaving for an easier job that will not get you a national championship.
Absolutely. And hell, Mike, he just polished that Southern charm, I don't know. He just needs to come out here and say, I ain't leaving.
Now, how about, I think since the last time you and I actually recorded, Shane, Carson Beck, Georgia's outstanding quarterback, he announced officially, he's coming back. We got comments here from Carson Beck leading up to the Orange Bowl on his decision to return. And I thought there was some pretty interesting comments here from Georgia's outstanding quarterback.
I mean, it was always tough, and obviously it crossed my mind at times. It's not easy to sit there and, not play. Doing the same thing that the guys that are playing are doing, just waking up, coming to practice, working out, doing all these things that we do. It's not easy at the University of Georgia, and that's how we like it. But to sit all these years and then finally have the opportunity to play, that also probably factored into my decision a little bit. I sat here for 3 years and didn't play. Why would I not come back and take advantage of another opportunity to play on such a great team?
And I just thought that was so interesting, Shane, because that's not something you hear a lot. You hear these players want to play and they want to show what they can do, and then they make the jump. I mean, that's why they pitch 5-star quarterbacks every year. They try to get them at Georgia because the theory is Carson Beck will get in there, he'll go pro. Brock Vandegrift will get his year, then he'll go pro. Dylan Raiola, on and on and on. But it's not a video game. It doesn't quite work that way. Carson Beck only played 1 year. He had to sit for 3, and now he has an opportunity. And maybe it would have been different, Shane, had they went undefeated, had they won another national championship. Maybe it would have been different. But, he's having the time of his life. He's getting paid handsomely.
Yeah.
And he gets another year to develop. And these NFL scouts, Shane, they hold it against you. If you only got, 10, 12 starts under your belt, that's completely different than if you got 24 and you're excelling in the SEC. So I just thought it was kind of cool to hear Carson Beck say, hell, I waited 3 years, and that weighed heavily on me. I only got to play for 1. I mean, he's coming back to play for a second season and chase that national championship.
Well, I think it's a win-win, man. And these guys are surrounded by NFL scouts. I mean, they know pretty much where they would go if they hit the NFL draft. And I think that's the thing with Beck is his stock can still rise. There were some things he clearly needs to work on. I don't think we saw his ceiling this year. I think that's you can't correct some of the mistakes that he made during this season unless you're in the offseason. So don't be surprised if Beck doesn't come out a bigger, better quarterback and potentially a first rounder next year. So yeah, he's saving. Not only is he making money by staying down in Georgia, because I know it wasn't an easy sale, and he's made some money in the NIL. But when he comes back, he's going to make more millions just because he stuck around and he grew and he became a better quarterback down there in Georgia.
Right, and since we last recorded, I've talked with Stephen Lassen, Shane, on the last episode. Go check it out if anybody missed it. But any thoughts on Trevor Etienne, Florida's explosive playmaker? Now he's a Georgia Bulldog, another weapon for Carson Beck to utilize next season. And Man, the rich get richer. I mean, that was one thing. Georgia's got some solid running backs.
Yeah.
I'm not disparaging the guys they have, but they were missing that explosive type running back. ETN, statistically, one of the most explosive in the SEC, which means he's one of the explosive in the country. Now he's a Georgia Bulldog.
Golly, I mean that's a part of your sale right there. Is you could turn around and hand it off to this X Factor, like that. People are going to start. The teams are going to load the box because they're afraid of ETN and this offensive line. But that helps Beck, with these receivers. So it's a win-win situation. And fantastic show with you and Steve. And I thought you hit the nail on the head. This is once in a lot. Like Georgia has been missing that dude. You think of all the great running backs that have come through the University of Georgia. This is one of those dudes, and it's going to be a complete game changer for that team.
Right. And then how about this, Shane? Ole Miss, of course, the Portal Kings and everything. I love this comment from P. Golding. He was asked by another friend of the show, Michael Cass. Everybody on here is friends of the show, but he was asked, portal recruiting.
Not Lane Kiffin. No.
Not Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, he's welcome, but he won't give us the date, the time.
No.
Pete Golding, high school recruiting, portal recruiting. Obviously, Ole Miss emphasizing that portal recruiting. He was asked about that. I just thought this was a really interesting answer he gave here.
Pete, I know it's a little bit down the line, but you guys have gotten a lot of big-time commits in the transfer portal, a really big-time recruiting class as well. I guess what is your philosophy when it comes to balancing high-level transfers and traditional high school recruiting in team building?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a unique time in college football, to be honest with you, and I think now it's more as building teams and programs, and don't take that the wrong way. Just because the transition happens so fast, and developmental players that you used to take to be able to add bulk and size and strength. Some of those guys, depending upon their mental makeup, you're not going to have a chance to develop because they're not going to come in as play as true freshmen. And depending upon who's in their circle, December hits and the portal opens, then they might seek other opportunities. And you've invested 6 to 10 months, depending upon if they were mid-semester or summer, that you're not going to get back, that they're not going to get back. And so I think it's recruiting the right type of kid, regardless whether it's a transfer kid or a high school kid, that goes back to loving football. I think there's got to be a connect of why they want to be at Ole Miss, why they want to play for Coach Kiffin, why they want to play in a scheme that's been successful and being around coaches that have been around guys that produce guys to get to the next level. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But I think, whether you're high school recruiting or portal recruiting, the number one thing is it a good fit? And I think, Ole Miss isn't for everybody. And I think they come in and they see our guys. I think our current players do a really good job on official visits of being honest, and telling them what it's really like. And I think there's no smoke and mirrors to where, hey, you're getting told one thing when you get there, something different. I appreciate that much about Coach Kiff, and very honest and upfront. We got a great group of guys, great character, that are really good football players that I think a lot of people want to be a part of right now.
So, well, go ahead.
That audio messed with me, man. That guy coughed. I thought somebody was in my damn house over here. Sorry.
Well, when Kiffin got hired down there, Shane, I mean, it was unique times. It was COVID and all that, but they hired a GM, which was, not completely unique to college football, but it was relatively, I think they may have been the first ones in the SEC, maybe LSU, but one of the first in the SEC to hire a general manager like they do in the NFL to do rosters. And Kiffin has made, no secret about it. The portal, utilizing that to supplement his roster, and really just to not even I mean, a lot of teams kind of plug a hole here or there. Yeah. He just will rework an entire offense or defense or position group or special teams, what have you. He'll just get in a whole new crop of players. And to me, Shane, it's almost like an NFL approach to where it is basically everybody's on a 1-year contract in Oxford. And if that's not for you, then get the hell out of here because we are on a 1-year deal here. And I'm sure that brings all kinds of unique challenges. We always hear about him in fall camp saying, hell, I'm trying to learn these guys' names. we're trying to get on the same page. So there is challenges to it. It's a unique way of doing it. But I think this is fascinating to see how this is all going to play out, because if they go like 8-4 or 7-5, I mean, it's going to be awful, and I don't know that anyone's ever going to do this again. But if they go 11-1 and they go to the playoff and they go to like the national championship, I think everybody's going to do this. So it's just going to be wild to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it is. And I hate to keep saying it, but it's just like that damn movie Moneyball. It's like once it is successful, people will start mimicking it or trying to duplicate what Lane Kiffin did there at Ole Miss, maybe pivot it or create like that one big season, because I think if you ask any fan outside of, the big ones, would they give up 3 shitty years for one national championship run? Absolutely. I would. I don't know about you, Mike, but it's been since 98 since we had one up here, and I would love to have one every 4 years. So I'm just curious because I've been thinking about this whole transfer portal and what Lane Kiffin and it is moving so fast, and it's like new rules on top of new rules, and it's like they're trying to get a hold of it, governing bodies, and it feels like they haven't quite figured it out. But I think there'll be a day, Mike, when they do. Do you think it looks like this 5 years from now, or do you think we have some sort of team sharing or roster or contracts with these kids, something like that?
Yeah, I think 5 years from now it's going to be unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Just like today, 5 years ago would have been. I mean, hell, they could never even mention boosters and getting paid, and now we got Kiffin at. He does his press conferences, Shane. He's wearing the NIL stuff, and he's not the only one. There's many doing it, but it's smart to do. How about this comment from Penny, Shane? Lane out here parlaying $7 trillion in NIL to Gainesville payoff in 2025. Who knows? I don't know that, but it'd be smart of him. You know what?
Well, that's what they've done. They've put all their chips to the front of the table, and it's either, like you said, it's going to pay off, or it's going to blow up in their face. And it's going to be one way or the other. It's still going to be fun as hell watching it, but Ole Miss fans, rightfully so, are on cloud 9.
But there is one important thing to all this, Shane, that is being overlooked, and I'm telling you now. I mean, I don't know for a fact that there's trouble a-brewing, but let's kick it over to Jaxson Dart, Quinshon Judkins. They were both asked during this Peach Bowl press conference, Shane, about next season. And if they're coming back, they completely ducked the question. And I've got something interesting on the other side here.
Jaxson, have you made any decision on your future yet? And follow-up to that is, how do you stay focused on the task at hand, knowing that you've got a really kind of life-changing decision coming up?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I have a great support staff around me. Great coaches. Obviously, my family is amazing, and have great friends on the team. So, honestly, not really too worried about it right now. Just focus on the bowl game and focus on my preparation and doing my job to help put the team in the best situation to win and make history here.
Right here, third row on the left.
Just to follow up on that, Jaxson, what goes into that decision when you get around to making it? You've made a transfer decision before. What goes into the decision about whether to stay, whether to explore your options, that kind of thing?
Like I said, I think that I just have a great support staff around me that's able to give me really good advice. There's a lot of things that go into it, but like I said, I'm just focused on this bowl game and going 1-0 this week.
Quinshon, I was just wondering if you had made a firm decision on what your future is after this game. Are you staying for another year? Are you exploring the transfer portal, any of that kind of thing?
I think just for me right now, I'm at the point where, I'm just focused on this bowl game, just going out with my guys, and that's my main focus, is just winning this game.
All right, Shane, so why is that important?
I plead the fifth.
Exactly. But why are they even doing that, Shane? Why are they not committing? And I think this is all business. I got no issue with it. But you see, I don't know the figures. I don't know that anybody does. They probably say, just keep this to yourself. We don't want Jaxson to know how much we're paying Juice Wells. We don't want him to know how much we're paying Walter Nolan. But if you're on that team, Shane, and you're looking at it and you're saying, my God, they're paying these guys. Mm-hmm. Well, whatever they're paying me, I got to get paid too. And they're already getting paid. So I realize that. But now they see people like me sitting here saying, Ole Miss is going to the playoff. All of a sudden, Jaxson Dart is worth more today than he was yesterday because there's this hype and expectation. And you don't think, Shane, without Quinshon Judkins, without Jaxson Dart, is Ole Miss, could they go to the playoff? Maybe, but it's significantly less likely. So right now, their stock is higher than ever, and particularly at Ole Miss. I'm not saying Georgia. Well, hell, I think everybody in the country wants Judkins, but I'm not saying everybody in the country would want Jaxson Dart and think he's an upgrade over their current starter. But now these players have leverage that they've never had before, and particularly right now in Oxford, because Ole Miss is spending so much in free agency, because that's what it is. That makes the guys on their roster that much more important. And until they get whatever it is they're seeking, and I'm just speculating, I don't know this for a fact, but that's clear as day to me that we already know these guys are getting paid. And we already know they're bringing in all these high-profile free agents. You have to know that the hopes and dreams of Ole Miss next season, quarterback, maybe the best running back in all of the country, they're going to get theirs. So I don't know. I just think this is all fascinating behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were afraid of this, though, when NIL started, division in the locker rooms. And sometimes I think it's happened and maybe we just aren't aware.
Right.
But, Ole Miss is kind of in the spotlight because, like you said, these big names that they're bringing in there, it's easy to kind of track down how much they're going to be making. And if you've been on that campus this entire time and built them to where they're at, it's like, I want a piece of my pie, you know what I'm saying? So I totally get, we're reading into these non-comments. So I'm not panicking. I'm not freaking out. I think these are just agents that have told their kids to, hey, don't say anything till after the bowl game.
Right. Don't say anything till
Don't
you
say
get yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Act like you may leave, This is where it pays off.
Yep. And then last one I had, Shade, real quick, Kentucky obviously playing Clemson tomorrow in the bowl game. Yep. Can't wait for that. But, hey, Ray Davis is playing. There's been no opt-outs aside from guys that have left the portal and are already on the new teams and an injury. Here's Mark Stoops on everybody suiting up for the Wildcats.
Mark, just you guys have dealt with opt-outs in the past, but it seems like this year there's just only a handful. How has that benefited you guys, and how much do you appreciate some of the guys like Ray coming back and deciding to play again?
Yeah, I think it's, it says a lot about these players, and it says a lot about our program. We really, and I don't know how you want to clarify that. There's guys that are in the portal, and other than that, we're at 100%. Jeremy had another issue. Kenneth has a surgery, and so we'll miss those two. But it says a lot about the leadership of this team. I think everybody wanted to finish on a positive note. They know we have a real challenge in facing a very good football team in Clemson, and the respect that we have for them. And we're trying to finish with a victory and bring home a bowl trophy.
So, Shane, I really just wanted to play those comments because there was some speculation that Mark Stoops and his, hey, we need the fan base to give us more money so we can buy players. That had really kind of alienated some of the locker room, but clearly with no opt-outs, they're locked in, and I think that says something to Mark Stoops' program that he's built. Even though it was a disappointing season, I mean, they started outstanding and kind of finished before that Louisville win. It would have been dreadful had they lost that game. But maybe he got some buyback there. Well, obviously the Texas A&M rumors and all that. So I just think it's a really good sign for him and his program that all these players are suiting up. And hell, we all know Clemson. That's another one. We talk about Missouri getting that old Ohio State win and what that would mean to that program. I think same thing for Kentucky, having a win over Clemson. That's something that they could have never imagined just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I think that's key because Clemson's is a beatable team already, and now they're starting to have opt-outs. So this is another one just to kind of put icing on the cake here because the season hasn't gone exactly as planned, but it has a chance to end in a strong fashion. It's already hitting with the portal. It's hitting with the recruiting trail. things are lining up for Kentucky. Just hit this. This is a good launch pad for 2024, and then you're right back in the top 25 talk next year.
Yep. All right, brother. Well, you got anything before we hop off a line? And before, real quick, we got a bowl game tonight, Arizona, Oklahoma. Can't wait for that one. Unfortunately, it's kicking off at like 11 o'clock Shane's time here, so doubtful we get any kind of post. But if something crazy happens, I'll jump on. And then Friday, tomorrow, Kentucky, Clemson, Ohio State, Missouri. Cannot wait for that. I'm going live the moment that Missouri game is over to recap those. You got any thoughts before we jump off the line?
No, I mean I'm happy that SEC matchups have kicked off here. It's going to be damn shoelace Sooner. I'll tell you what. Let's talk. We'll stay all night for the Sooners. Let's watch out. I wish they wouldn't start so damn late, but I'm getting old. I have to finish the second half the next day. But anyway, man, it's great to see it, and I'm embrace it, love it because it's going. There's a lot of teams that aren't going to see any more football this year. Your team may not have played yet. Let's enjoy that college football because in a couple more months we're going to be sitting there like, damn, when's spring games start? So just love it. And but anyway, Mike, it's been fun. Glad you had a great Christmas, and I missed everybody. And like you said, we're going to be going live after these SEC matchups. I'm going to try to hit as many as I can. I may not be able to do all because I am working, but I can't wait to. Maybe we could pull off a big one, man. I'd love to have some big wins this winter.
Yeah, SEC is going undefeated. That includes Oklahoma and Texas, Shane. The only loss the SEC may suffer is in the national championship when it's Alabama and Texas going head-to-head to win it all. I mean, we can't win them all when we're playing each other, but, can't wait for some of these games.
I'm already hearing Texas, like, after they beat Washington, then they're going to come out and say, well, Washington was never really good,
All right, brother, I appreciate you as always. I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out, especially those on the live show and those that donate to keep the show going. We truly, truly do appreciate you. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, see you guys.